Today we're looking at the most cursed, weird, sus, and plain disturbing things that Mario has been a part of throughout his history. From weird Mario betas to creepy Mario products, and even ways to turn your Mario games into cursed versions of them using no hacks or mods. We're gonna cover it all. So let's do this! Mario betas, they're pretty cool. They show the early design process and build of a game. However, some of the beta designs can be pretty odd. Starting with Mario 64. Now at first glance, it actually doesn't seem too different from the final game. So Bits, why are you showing me this then? I came here to see some cursed content. Well, just take a listen to what his old voice used to sound like.
Whoo! Ha! Yeah! No! Oh!
Well, I think we can thank Charles Martinet for coming in and saving Mario's voice. Next, let's look at the Super Mario World beta, which was the first game that Yoshi was in. And here we can see what his original design was gonna look like. Yeah, just look at this thing. I don't even know what to make out of it. You tell me what you think of the design, because it does have its fans, but I think it's cursed. It's got like a beak almost. And side note, speaking of Yoshi, let's talk about his voice. Now normally, it's this cute little dinosaur voice. Until you realize his voice is simply the Nintendo composer Kazumi Tataka's normal voice, but sped up. So when you slow it down, you'll hear his real voice.
Yohi! Kururing! Ha! Ho! Ha! Ow! Terom pom! Weehaw!
Back on track to the betas though, we have the Super Mario Sunshine beta. And I mean, there's nothing too unusual here at first. Maybe this weird cut enemy, but that's about it. Until you look closer at this scene and see this little human girl standing there. Yeah, not like cartoon human Mario, but a human with realistic proportions. And it turns out humans were gonna be in Mario Sunshine, but Nintendo removed them for unknown reasons. Until Mario Odyssey, that is, where they said, screw it, we'll add the weird real humans, which still look cursed to me, I don't care what you say. Now before we get into the real cursed stuff, like how you can turn a normal game into a cursed game, let's look at some weird Mario commercials first. And get your popcorn ready for this one. Take a sec to sit back and relax because things are about to get really weird.
Something's coming up the plumbing for Luigi's in a bind. Giant turtles out to get him, creepy crabs are right behind.
Okay, this first one is a commercial for the Mario Bros. Arcade port on Atari. And it has the most uncanny looking animal things as, you know, the enemies in the game. And wait, okay, so is it Mario or Mario? Because they literally say both versions within a span of like 5 seconds.
Mario, where are you? It's Atari Mario Brothers with Mario from Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know. But now let's look at one of the most unusual crossovers, Mario and Mercedes-Benz. So how do you put Mario in a realistic car then? Yeah, okay, you make this weird, Chad, realistic, cursed version of Mario, sure. They even added, like, normal Mercedes cars in Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U as a part of this promo too. Weird, man. Luigi's Mansion is next, and for Mario standards, it's a pretty creepy game, so the potential for a cursed commercial is definitely there. So, check this one out. Okay, here's the plot. Guy tries to get with Goth Girl, but she traps him in a cube. Guy gets forced to play Luigi's Mansion with a creepy narrator.
You've got one night to save Mario from the supernatural.
Then Guy gets out somehow and tries to now get with a GameCube. What? What is even going on here? They just don't make commercials like they used to. I'm finding these commercials a lot funnier than I thought. And if you're enjoying hearing about these things too, then it would mean a lot if you subscribed for more. Thanks. Now let's move back onto the games and look at some cursed moments within them. And let's start with a few out-of-place celebrations from Super Mario Kart. And I don't blame you if you don't know what I'm talking about, since this was actually censored for releases outside of Japan. Because only in the Japanese version, in the victory screen, you can see Peach and Bowser drink bottles of champagne when they win. Bowser's a straight savage too. He chugs a whole bottle as it drips down on him. What an unusual sight.
And there's also a bunch of weird, old, and obscure Mario games that were released in the 90s that I have to mention.
Even though this one's more known, the most cursed one for me is definitely Mario Teaches Typing. Specifically, this weird floating disembodied Mario head that cracks random jokes to the player. I mean, I already played it in a previous video, so I don't want to talk about this for too long, so I'll just leave you with my favorite line.
Oh no! I'm a fallen, and I can't get up! That is my impression of American advertising. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The Paper Mario series. Now, if you've only played the newer ones, you might not know how disturbing some of the moments were in the original 3 games.
The worst of which, or best of which, because I love seeing this stuff in a Mario game, is from Super Paper Mario. Specifically from this character, Mimi. At first, she's just like this mean, annoying maid that, yeah, enslaves you, but things really get cursed when she reveals who she actually is. Yeah, snapping your neck, giant spider, and an exorcism all in one Mario character. Okay.
And lastly, let's talk about Mario Strikers. I love this game, and I've made a bunch of videos on it too.
And even though it goes for this rough, gritty look, I wouldn't say it's cursed. I mean, everything still looks and seems Mario, except for the electric fences. I don't know whose idea it was to have Mario characters violently being electrocuted with smoke in a game, but that is absolutely a great idea. It makes this game so brutal and I love it. And if you're still not convinced that this is cursed, then just listen to the audio as you get shocked. That is terrifying.
So before I show you the glitches that can turn your Mario game cursed, let's look at some toys and other weird products first.
Like this super cursed looking Mario koala bear that broke the internet because, I mean, just look at it. What were they thinking? This is horrifying. It turns out that this thing is in front of some arcade in Australia. Oh great, that's another animal to be terrified of from there. Or how about some cereal boxes? Yeah, because for some reason there was a lot of Mario 64 ads on cereal. And most of the renders actually look fine until you see the Frosted Flakes ad. And I mean, Mario looks normal, but then what is wrong with these penguins? I don't know why, but these guys seem to just stare into my soul, creeping me out. Like, look somewhere else, guys.
And then there's Hot Wheels and Mario Kart, a crossover that just makes sense, right?
And there were some normal looking ones, but then we have these cursed versions where they warp the character into the shape of the cart. So it has a Mario and Luigi car with a mustache, a Yoshi car where his tongue is the crane and a tow truck. I mean, that has to be his tongue, right? Or the worst is Toad. I don't know why, his design just comes off as the most creepy one for me. Or how about we just take a look at this cool looking Mario popsicle? Until it melts, that is, then, oh god, no, that is terrifying! Get me away from all these creepy Mario products!
Alright, that's quite enough of that. So now let's finish by looking at some of the most cursed glitches that you can perform in your Mario games.
Let's start with one that you can do pretty easily in Mario Galaxy, cause all you need for it is the red star power-up in the Comet Observatory. Now when you use this power-up, if you hold the A button, Mario freezes in place and the camera will move behind him. So if you do this near a flat surface, then the camera will get blocked by the ground and glitch into Mario's head. And this will give you some pretty creepy results. So that's what the inside of Mario's skull looks like. Huh.
Next is a glitch in Mario Odyssey that takes a lot of time to perform, but is very easy to do. Let me explain.
So first, you gotta go to the darker side of the moon, specifically the area with these frogs. Because to do this glitch, you first need to do the flying frog glitch. Yeah, this is some sort of glitchception, I know. And if you didn't know how to do the frog glitch, well then you just gotta get some height using one of the frogs, then jump onto the other frog as he's jumping up, and then quickly capture him. Now you'll be able to swim in the air, and by doing this, you can swim a long ways away. So far, in fact, that the Odyssey disappears, and when it does, you need to uncapture and ground pound, which makes you fall forever. And here's where it gets cursed. If we pause the game, Mario looks pretty normal, but if you wait for an hour or so, it might start to look like this. And then after another hour, it could look like this. Basically, the more you wait, the more cursed Mario's face gets. So after 5 hours, you'll get a really cursed result like this.
Okay, that was cool, but let's end this video with a way to turn your normal N64 games into cursed versions of them.
You'll need a Mario 64 cartridge and an N64, of course. So, you know, just start it up normally and get your Mario groove going. But then, if you gently pull on the top left corner of your cartridge like this for a bit, yeah, the game kind of freaks out. And what you're left with is one of the most weird, cursed-looking versions of Mario 64, where the audio sounds terrifying and Mario is kinda going crazy. Yeah, you get to see some pretty wild and funny animations with this too. But do be warned, this might corrupt your save file or even damage the cartridge, so don't try this at home. Or do it, I don't really care. It's your cartridge, not mine.